Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Hello.
This is the podcast where we're going to talk like no one's listening.
Ooh, yeah.
Curious, though, is anyone listening?
Yeah, this is from Lex, best podcast ever, surgery healthcare worker here.
Oh, great.
Yeah, this is the only podcast I've listened to every episode, and like St. Monica, I go back and re-listen over and over. Hallelujah. Thank you for all the honesty and for making me seem like a crazy person as I laugh out loud at the grocery store. Whew, phew. I'm glad they weren't saying like at the hospital or in surgery. Laugh out loud at the grocery store, at home, or driving. I'm a surgical technologist. My job is to scrub in with surgeons and assist them. It's the best job ever. I've also worked on an ambulance as an EMT. Okay, this is what's really interesting. I tell you, there is something magical about the combined focus on the patient that makes it so we can ignore our own bodies for an extremely long time. Time flies as we work. I've done 20-hour surgeries without food, water, or going to the bathroom. It's crazy.
Whoa.
We also look out for each other, at least in my practice. I've told surgeons to pause and ask if they need a break. They make sure I'm okay. We take care of people by also taking care of each other. But I tell you, the second that the patient is okay and leaving the room, the race is on. I'm assuming to go to the bathroom or eat
sure,
or
yeah.
all of the above.
Shove things in, shove things out.
Thank you for your amazing content. I look forward to every Wednesday and wish you had an episode every day. Love you guys. I recommend this to everyone. So nice.
Oh, thank you. I have a question for you, Andy.
Yeah.
Please be so honest.
I'm actually always pretty honest. Yeah.
Okay. Did you pre-plan oh, thank God it was in the grocery store. I was worried it was going to be during surgery. No. That was really off the cuff.
Completely off the cuff.
The way you delivered it seemed like you had maybe thought of it beforehand.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I would tell you if that was pre-planned.
Okay.
I think maybe the reason you thought that is that I think after I said it, I got self-conscious because I realized people might not know this is a surgeon person. Uh-huh. And so I was like, oh, no. People might not even understand why I had that reaction. I already knew the context and then saw that.
Oh, I think that it had said that before you got there.
Great. Yeah.
Well, that's very good to know.
It's good. It really is good to know. You get that white, hot focus, that white adrenaline heat in the brain.
Sometimes I feel like for creatives, that's called like in the flow, where you kind of lose.
Yeah.
I mean, the stakes are significantly higher, obviously, in surgery.
Are they, though?
Did we talk about that I had watched the documentary Bad Surgeon?
Yeah, you mentioned it. You didn't really say much about it, though.
God, there are some real psychopaths out there. And I have said in the past, you want a sociopath operating on you because they are all about just doing a good job. But in this case, this narcissistic sociopath was really just all about promoting himself.
Mm.
So he claimed to have found a way to fix windpipes by putting a plastic windpipe in.
Yeah.
And then using cell regeneration. Basically the idea is that your cells would grow then on the inside of this plastic windpipe.
Okay.
So your windpipe could function.
Great.
Well,
don't you have to get FDA clearance to put pipes in people?
Well, this was all over the world. He's traveling all over the world.
Oh,
he became
cool.
a big hot shit guy. Guess what? Every patient died. It was total bullshit. And there were patients who he did this to who there's one patient who survived it.
Yeah.
But it was they ultimately had reversal surgery.
Yeah.
But here's another thing. Once he put that in, okay, one patient could have reversal surgery, but wouldn't you think that this would already exist? Your windpipe, I didn't realize there's not really a way to fix it.
What's a windpipe? Is it just your throat?
Yeah.
Okay.
So food goes down, air goes down.
So it was a big deal if he had come up with a way to fix it.
Huge.
Did he think he actually figured it out?
No.
Pretty bad surgeon.
And what it was very disturbing is his ego was so enormous and he became such hot shit. And the media, the medical media totally played into this. That there were other doctors there present in surgery, like, who knew this was bad. But because you couldn't question it, because how would he have gotten this far?
Oh my! This is
It's like such a nightmare.
If you see something, say something.
Yes, silence
Come
is violence.
on.
Really sad. And
Did any of those doctors get in trouble? Because I'm disappointed in them.
well, one of them, you can tell, has the weight of the world on his shoulders. And by the way these people suffered afterwards is so heinous and horrific, the way they died. So there's one doctor who was kind of like his right-hand man who genuinely believed in this.
Okay, so he
and was
bought in.
excited about it. And you can tell, like, this will haunt him until his last dying breath.
Now, do you think it should haunt him to his last dying breath, or do you think he could take it a little easier on himself because he was totally manipulated and bought in? Or do you think he is culpable at all?
Okay, this is such an interesting question. Because I think, medical mistakes happen.
Of course.
Out in the world, there are accidents. Like, everyone's human. We're not perfect. And it begs the question, how much does intention matter? Because also, like, we're teaching our kids, sometimes accidents happen, and even though it's not your fault, you still need to make sure that person's okay, apologize, reiterate that next time you'll be more careful or you'll do things differently. So intention doesn't get you off the hook completely. I mean, people accidentally kill people.
Yeah.
They still need to have consequences, right?
Yeah.
Even if they didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Now, but it's a very different thing from like premeditated, I'm a serial killer type of stuff. But I've been thinking about this because watching that docuseries, and my heart really broke for this guy. Like, you could tell he really cared and was devastated and he himself was a victim. Now, there were also romantic partners this surgeon had who were victims. He had like multiple families going, he's that kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of guy.
Cool guy.
Cool guy. So I also was watching another murder documentary it's Michelle McNamara's, Patton Oswalt's late wife.
Okay.
Her work finding out who the Golden State Killer was. And how, like, I don't know, there are situations where there's shoddy police work, but they're doing the best they can with what they have. Are the police feeling that way? Like, oh, had I XYZ'd this in hindsight, I could have prevented all of this suffering. I don't know.
Well, you can't be, I think we spoke to this recently about doctors sort of, you can't, let's say a patient dies and not even necessarily it was your fault, but like it wasn't let's say you go into the surgery and there's like a 50-50 chance they're going to make it, right? You still have to perform the best that you can, but let's say the patient doesn't make it. I think you do have to compartmentalize somehow. Is there maybe other things that could have been done in the surgery slightly different or what, like that could have come together that they would survive? Possibly. But I think if you let that eat away at you, you wouldn't be able to do the job at all.
Right? And also, like, there are plenty of us who aren't, this I think is what we're talking about with EMTs and stuff. There are plenty of us who aren't putting ourselves out there to save lives. And it doesn't seem fair that just because they are trying, they should bear the weight of this, like, guilt.
Right.
When there are lots of people like us who aren't even trying and can avoid that guilt in general.
I sort of see that.
I think this is like, there's so much survivor's guilt of, there's a lot of, heaven forbid, parents who lose children.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how much you would play over and over again all the things you could have done differently,
Sure.
even though it more than likely is completely out of, a weird thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what good that does. I don't think it does much good, honestly. I think
Yeah.
if you're just like a good person trying to do your best, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
I've also thought about, I don't know if you know, but I was sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Obviously,
I mean,
weird.
yeah, this is like 2 episodes in a row where it's like getting weird. You're making a lot of I don't know. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by a voiceover coach in New York, and if anyone is unaware of this, you can search Peter Rofe, and there are articles about this, but
CNN.
CNN.
That'll get you
There's
there quick.
article.
That'll get you there very well. No, but that's the most
Reputable.
boom, nailed it.
And I definitely, this happened when I was in my mid-20s. You and I were dating. I felt really guilty, like I had brought it upon myself because, and it sounds so weird now, but I had been groomed and I had been in the voiceover studio. He, over weeks and weeks, convinced me that I needed to, like, take off my clothes. It sounds wild, but trust me, you think it can't happen to you.
Right.
Although I say that, and I'm also like, I kind of was a sitting duck. Like, I'm a people pleaser. I feel like there's so many ways I was primed to be groomed and stuff.
Maybe.
But it can happen to anyone. Anyway, where are we going with this? Oh, so it wasn't until, and I felt really guilty, and I told you about it, and I felt like, you weren't thrilled with the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, and if I'm totally honest, there's part of me that was upset with you in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, totally.
It's hard to hear. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
took your shirt off,
Yeah.
and your
Like, what were you thinking?
clothes,
Why would you
and
do that? Yeah.
exposed yourself, and then, so crazy. Anyway, so where was I going? Okay.
Surgeons?
No, it wasn't until years later during the Me Too movement. This had always kind of nagged at me.
Oh, for sure.
And I put it out there, and lo and behold, there were like 40 to 60 women he had done this to. In some cases, he raped women, assaulted, groomed all of us like in such a specific way. And it was also very alarming because I think over time he got better and better at it. But I had a lot of guilt hearing from women who were after me. Particularly younger women who seemed even more vulnerable, and like the assault was even more traumatizing. And I really felt like, God, what would have happened if I had rung the alarm bells then? And I had a feeling of guilt, like, oh my God.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. I understand why you would feel that. I don't think you need to feel that even an ounce of that personally.
Yeah.
Knowing the situation and knowing just that type of manipulation in general. But yeah.
Yeah. I also can't fathom that back then I would have been like, you know what, I'm going to report this. Like, I don't know. But watching the I'll Be Gone in the Dark is a docuseries on Max with Michelle McNamara's based on her book. Really, really well done documentary. Mostly from the victims' perspectives, which I really appreciated. But it kind of goes to show how this violence is so insidious, because I don't need to go into all of the heinous crimes this guy did, but for example, he raped a lot of women, and sometimes they were young girls. And one of the main kind of outspoken people in this docuseries is she was only 15.
Jesus.
She was home alone, playing piano, and like then this whole thing happened, and it was torture. It was for like 3 hours. And after that, because of also the time, she was not allowed to speak about it. She couldn't share it because her parents were very worried. I mean, I'm sure maybe the coping mechanism was like, if we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist.
Do they report it?
They reported it, but I guess like her dad overheard her telling a friend about what happened, and she got in tons of trouble.
Oh, wow.
So like the trauma just continues. And I
Yeah.
think that, I don't know why I brought that up, but
Yeah. But yeah. Wow. Okay.
yeah, I have a really interesting thing for us to talk about.
Great. Let's explore that.
So do you know, they don't really sell them here anymore, but do you know that Haribo made or makes, maybe they still make sugar-free gummy bears?
Oh, I don't know if I did know that.
It's nice for diabetics or people who don't want that insulin spike.
Okay.
But boy, oh boy, are you going to pay the price.
Is it? Does it destroy your bowels?
It destroys. And so there's some very funny reviews I came across.
What a segue. Wow.
Wait, we might have actually heard this. Okay. This was at 30,000 feet.
Okay.
My flight was leaving at 8 in the morning. After awaking and trying to get to the airport, I forgot to grab something to eat. I was going from Boston to LA. I do it regularly, so nothing was new. I stopped at a convenience store and saw these gummy bears and thought they would be the perfect gift for my son, Charlie. He loves gummy bears.
Great.
And gummy worms. So that morning, I slept through my alarm. I rushed out. After speeding to fill up my rental, I made it to the gate as they were boarding. I got it on the plane and asked two adorable older ladies sitting in the middle and aisle seats if I could pass by to my seat. They obliged. The lady in the middle must have been around 80 years old, so it took her some time to get up and make sure she was holding on to something so she didn't fall. I thanked them as I sat and settled into my seat. Fast forward 20 minutes, we reach our cruising altitude of 30,000 feet. I reach into my carry-on bag to grab my headphones, and I see the gummy bears.
Does sound nice right about now.
Hungry, need something. I open them up. I wanted to save some for my son, so I had maybe 4 or 5 bears. But I had 4 or 5 too many. Because once the bears had a few minutes to adjust to their new home, they began to work.
That's not possible.
It started out with a little cramp, which is normal with gassing on the plane. I've never heard about that, by the way. It's normal.
I almost don't think this is real. The way
I know.
it feels too like...
You don't want to fart on a plane, so you hold it in. I actually have a theory about that I'll come back to.
I never hold them in on the plane.
You shouldn't.
You can't.
We're all blowing up. You know when we go up to the cabin and our chip bag blows up?
Yeah.
That's happening in our bodies.
Yeah, you gotta let it out.
It's just air. I'll come back to that. Anyway, it's airplane etiquette. Then it got worse. The cramps intensified. Sweating started.
Nice.
And I began to notice the older ladies looking at me. About 30 minutes into eating these bears, my thinking went, oh, these are just farts, I can hold them, to, oh, dear God, not here. I've been a Christian my whole life. This is the test. If there is a God, please help me leave this plane with my dignity intact. After waiting for an intense cramp wave to pass, I stood up to jump over those 2 women.
Oh, God.
I couldn't wait for them to stand, so I stood up, my back facing them, and tried to shimmy past them. I think a toot came out, because I heard one say, oh, Lord, was that you? After reaching the aisle...
This doesn't feel real.
It doesn't. I waddled to the back of the plane, but fun.
Yeah.
Where the least amount of risk would be. To my dismay, it was in use. That left one bathroom left in the front. I looked down the aisle and saw my Mount Everest. I had to somehow keep my wet cheeks tighter than Fort Knox whilst waddling forward.
You know, this sounds like something my dad would write.
It does. It totally does. Okay. After 5 minutes of stop and go, I made it to the bathroom.
5
even
minutes
though
of
I was
stop and go? Like it took that long to walk down the aisle?
I guess so. Even though I was on the throne confessing my sins, I thought my time was called. I lost count on how many knocks at the door there were. I must have been in there for 45 minutes. I washed my hands, threw water on my face to calm me down, opening the door. You don't want to throw that water on your face, especially when you already have some tummy troubles.
Probably not. Yeah.
There were daughters, mothers, and children looking at me. I could feel their questions and comments. Okay. Anyway, really fun.
Is it possible? What is the fastest something can kick in with the tummy troubles?
That's a real good question.
Because there are times where I'm like, oh my God, it does seem very quick. But then I always have to check myself and go, What did you have for breakfast? What did you eat yesterday? Like, am I blaming the wrong culprit sometimes? But is it a specific, getting back to the gummy bears, the sugar-free, is it a specific type of sugar replacement that people get their stomach upset from?
I guess so. Remember like Olestra?
Oh, yeah, and those chips.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
that would really do it to you. My suspicion is almost like this became a thing, and then some people like your dad thought it would be funny to like hop on there. But
my dad would never lie about it. My dad would do this story if it happened to him, but it would have those kind of beats, and it would have the extra flair that this has.
Yeah. Okay, one's titled. I won't read a ton of these, but I want to do a few more.
Where are you reading these?
Just like a random website.
This isn't like Amazon or something?
I don't want to say. Well, they are from Amazon, yes.
The reviews?
Yeah.
Okay.
One's titled Diarrhea While Driving. One's titled 5 stars, sweet, soft, fruity, delicious, and my gastrointestinal tract has never been so sparkling clean. One is just help me. One is, okay, this is another fun one. A delicious treat that should be enjoyed only after the following preparations have been made. 1, make sure it's Friday, cancel all weekend plans.
Okay.
2,
I gotta stop you. This is so dumb. I can't believe you even like this. If I would have brought this to you, you would have like stopped this 5 minutes ago.
No, it's great.
Okay.
I won't go into that one then, but it's very funny.
No,
it's
finish
like
it.
alert your neighbors.
No, let me hear it. You find these so delightful.
Okay. I fear that I've like adopted your potty humor. 2, call the city and make sure your water bill is paid in full. 3, visit your local hardware store and purchase a sink attachment for your garden hose, as toilet paper will become too painful to bear. You have one of those called a Tushy.
Oh, I love it so much.
4, give advanced notice to family members, roommates, and neighbors. 5, redo your restroom and motivational pictures, ones with slogans like courage is fear hanging.
So dumb.
Oh my God. The only easy day was yesterday. This isn't funny. I also advise posting up a suicide prevention hotline number. So stupid. Lastly,
Do you want me to edit that out?
I must strongly urge you to consider why you are thinking of buying this product. Is it a sense of deep self-loathing? Are you researching dysentery?
Okay. Abort. I'm going to help you out here. I need to take some of the sting off of you.
Oh my God, this is really funny.
Did you notice last night how I turned the light on in the bathroom in the middle of the night? Did that wake you up? Or no?
No.
Oh, great. I was having some butt issues.
Oh, were you?
I woke up in the middle of the night, like itching my butt. Like I woke up from slumber itching my butt, which is not a good way to wake up.
Have you ever had worms?
I hope not. But this
Have you?
I don't think so.
You'd know.
Ew.
I actually have a very early memory. I had them when I was...
You actually seem like the kind of girl that would have worms.
Why do you say that?
Because of just your vibe. No, just because how you find this gummy bear thing so funny.
Well, can I read one more headline and then we'll come back to that? See you in hell, Haribo sugar-free gummy bears. That's all.
That's it? Okay.
No, there's a whole long thing.
Okay,
Don't worry.
okay.
They're in class. Okay, so yes, I have a very clear, not pleasant memory of my sweet mom. And to her credit,
She had worms?
no, she was looking to see if I had them. And the whole thing, you do tape.
I was trying to help you out here by revealing something really gross of myself to get you out of this hole that you were in.
But I remember her looking at my butthole
And just throwing up.
No, she kept it together because that's what mothers do, I've snuck into our kids' rooms and put tape on their anuses to see. Luckily, we've avoided it. But, it's a thing that happens. That happens sometimes. And so you might have them right now. Is your butt itching right now?
Well, I think it was hemorrhoids or beginning of a hemorrhoid problem. And so I woke up in the middle of the night, like, why am I doing this to myself? And I just ran to the bathroom, and then I found like some old Preparation H
Ew.
and just like slathered it on.
Ew. God, Andy.
And then I got
Gross.
back. Then I got back in bed and slept like a baby.
How dare you say I look like I would have worms and then carry on with that?
Well, hello, I've never had worms. So if we're
But you're
looking at people in the
slathering
room,
expired Preparation H.
I was
in the middle of
because
the
it was
night.
like so jarring waking up like that. I had to do something.
Can I say
I
something?
had to squeeze. So I squeezed the tube, and like the first stuff that came out of the tube was like a little discolored and like harder than it should be. And then once I got through that, then it started looking fine. And I was like, I'll just use that.
Andy, you have tummy troubles a lot. You have poop issues regularly. Like you're going in there and losing your ass super regularly. Do you think that's something you might want to look at?
I mean, no, I think I'm good. Me and my
Can I
tushy.
tell you something though?
I
It's
hear
actually
you
just,
every morning.
I have a normal poop.
So
makes
what's
sounds.
not normal about my poops?
Are you kidding me? You go in,
Well, sometimes I have to go multiple times. Yeah,
and also I have to be honest with you.
please.
It's very disruptive to me. No, I'm not even kidding.
Okay.
I'm trying to work in there, and sometimes my only place where I feel like I can work and like truly not be interrupted, because my options are in an area where you're accessing the kitchen and stuff, or our bedroom, which is like I can actually close the door. Our bedroom is the only place that we have a tushy.
Yeah.
And so you some days are coming in there like every 15 minutes for 2 hours using the tushy, which sprays and it's very noisy. And also there's a smell. Like I'm not kidding.
Are you saying we need to install another tushy?
I mean, that might help a lot. But also, why do you not care at all that you're like, that's not normal for multiple times a week for you to have tummy troubles
It
to that
probably
degree.
happens like once a week. The scenario you're painting, where it's like I come back 15 minutes later and I'm like, I'm back.
We'll start keeping track. I think you're wrong. I think it's frequently enough, and you really don't care?
Are you announcing right now that you will do the service of keeping track of my BMs? Because that's both horrifying and delightful to me.
Well, just to prove a point and to say, hey, this might be something you might want to look into.
Yeah. You think I have like IBS or something?
Yes. Something's not right. Or it's just you eat a horrific diet.
I do. Here's the thing. I don't have the best diet at all. But whenever I try to reverse engineer that, there aren't answers in that.
You can't go.
There aren't answers there.
Well, I can't fathom what you have tried to do and if you've stuck with it. Now, if you start adding like vegetables and healthier things in, you can't go all in out the gate. Of course, it's going to make things worse. You have to like slowly kind of ease into a better situation for yourself.
Oh, I'm talking about like if I had like Taco Bell, if it was like, oh, there you go, it was the Taco Bell. That's what I'm saying. That I'm not finding culprits like that. Like,
sure you are. Frequently you'll be losing your ass and come out and go, I think it was, XYZ that I had. Pretty frequently.
yeah, maybe I just do that to like save face with you, sort of.
Well, it's not helping.
Because it is kind of embarrassing if there's nothing to blame it on.
But do you see how insane you sound? We can blame it.
But do you know what I'm saying?
I kind of do, but like also,
Yeah.
you can blame it on that.
Yeah.
And you do blame it on that.
I do blame it on
So
things.
why not try to make some changes in your life?
Well, because I have the tushy, which just takes care of everything in such a great way.
Okay. It is so annoying to me when, it's one thing, of course, if it were happening
Well, I
like
do.
once in a while,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
regularly, and I cannot get fucking shit done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so annoying.
Okay, it is. I hear you, and maybe we need to put a tushy in the other bathroom. It is also unfair for you to be keeping me from the bathroom when I really need to go. So now I'm going to have the weight of, should I relieve myself, or
Oh,
I don't want to
Andy,
interrupt.
I don't think
I don't want to
that-
interrupt Elizabeth.
I can't imagine that has ever been even a spark of a thought in your mind before now or would be after now. There's never been a time where you've...
I feel bad though. I mean, I think
Have you? I haven't heard.
Oh no, I think I give you an acknowledgement, like, sorry, I got to use the bathroom again, or sorry,
Okay.
I do, as knowing that you don't use the tushy and you've never found it like,
I've used it.
but I know you don't like it.
I mean, I don't need it really. Okay. I'm a one wipe Sally.
Okay. Okay.
A second one just to confirm.
Okay. Fine. But I do often have the thought, knowing how bad it must be to hear that thing turn on. Just
and
be
then
like,
do you overcompensate by going, but you know what? No. I'm going to sit here for 10 seconds longer. Just
no, I
because sometimes you really
I never ever spitefully lengthen my tushy time because of you.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I use it. Sometimes it is on for a while. I think in the instructions, it's like use it for 2 minutes, which seems crazy.
That's wild.
But I know a lot of those like Japanese, like
so
the Toto
long.
ones, I think they are on a lot longer time than you would think. But it's really great. It's changed my life. It has changed my life. For the positive.
It's enabled you to continue to eat like chili dogs and stuff like that. And
yeah, I
have
think I
no
would.
concern.
I think I would have a real serious hemorrhoid problem without the tushy. And if that's not an endorsement,
but
I don't know what it is.
Do you see that I'm saying that you could probably do something about that hemorrhoid? Like the root tushy is a Band-Aid. There's a root cause of all of this that you haven't gotten to. And I think it's pretty like a doctor's going to be like, no, walk me through what you eat. It's like, doctor, I am a severe alcoholic going and being like, I'm having some liver problems. Okay, well, like anything that could cause that? Nothing that I can think of. How many drinks do you have a week? 700.
Okay, I don't think that's like, I understand the example, but you're being pretty flip about that. And it's like really, really not cool.
Okay. Oh, going back to the gas on an airplane.
Why do you always leave streaks in the toilet?
What are you talking about?
I never, ever. Oh my God. Are you living in a world where you go into our bathroom and think that I've left streaks in the toilet bowl?
Sure.
No, you're not.
Yes. Hey, Andy.
It's never me. It is never me. It is never, ever me.
You are in no position to point fingers. Literally.
Wait.
You do not
it
get
is
to.
Never me.
You have kept me from, like, I can't even imagine how much more work and, like, how much more I could have done.
Successful I would be if you weren't shitting all the time.
Truly. Like, you've kept me from my career, from, like, climbing the ladder. And you're pointing at me about streaks? Yes, sometimes that happens. It's, sorry. You probably don't leave streaks because you have a tushy, like, running 2 flushes worth of water at your butt into the toilet after you go poop. Okay, let's move on to farts. Okay, so airplane. Now, I had a girls' weekend up at the cabin, and I think I kind of was like accustomed to it because I didn't have it that bad, but all of my friends
Oh, now you're going to throw your friends under the bus.
were so gassy that we were all like on all fours on the floor.
Oh.
It was...
Farting?
It's just air. There's no
You
smell.
were all on all fours farting for each other.
At one point, yes. Now, It was just air. It truly no smell whatsoever.
Lies.
I'm not lying. Now, on an airplane, it's the same thing. It's the elevation. Your body is just like puffing out with air. So I'm like, unless, of course, you've had sugar-free gummy bears, fart away. And there's a special, I used to think that this airplane cushions like had a special absorbent fart material because I've farted and there's no smell. Now, of course, we've all experienced a very smelly fart coming from a neighbor.
Yeah.
But the way the airplane air system, I've recently learned, is like the air circulates, it pushes down on top of you, and then it goes out and around. So whatever fart that you're farting into the seat, and you don't want it to be loud. I can control that. I can make sure it's a quiet fart. It's going to get pushed down and out. You don't need to worry about it so much. Now, if you're like really having tummy troubles, you just know it might smell and make it uncomfortable for everyone.
So you're saying just fart on airplanes?
Yeah, and you fart like in really thoughtless ways and places sometimes around me, but I also am like, I kind of think, if you can, get thee to a bathroom just because it's a nice thing to do. When like, you're going to have a whole set of farts. This is not on an airplane. This is on solid ground. But I also think, like, my mom never farted, and she had cancer twice.
Oh, my God. I don't even know. We gotta move on or something. Because
that's kind of a joke.
You're basically saying fart on airplanes. Me and my friends get on all fours and fart and think it's funny. And then like you're shaming me for
laying in
IBS.
bed and okay. Yeah. By the way, I can't believe I'm saying the F word so often because in my home growing up, we would not say this. It was toot. And we would rarely say that.
You're grossing me out right now. What is it all about this all on all fours? So I want to talk more about this book that everyone at this party you didn't go to last night was talking about that you were reading by Miranda July. And it's all about fucking and cheating on your husband and stuff. You didn't tell me it was about cheating on your husband.
Why do I have to report? When am I telling you about a book I'm reading?
I don't know, but it's called On All Fours. And you did tell me that the language was so crazy in it.
Okay.
But you didn't tell me you loved this book so much that this lady's on all fours getting turned out and then leaving her husband.
Turned out? Gross. Hey, Andy.
Uh-huh.
You're coming at me as though I've betrayed you somehow by reading a book, a novel, make-believe. Although I do kind of wonder if some of it's true.
Oh, this conversation came up last night. It seems very true. She like lives in a different house than her husband with her new girlfriend and stuff. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. But it might be ex-husband now.
Yeah, interesting. That would be true to the book. They would be exes, but very good friends.
Anyways, you loved the book, right? Loved it.
I loved it. I'd give it. So my bar is really high to absolutely like freaking love a book. There are only a couple up there.
Okay.
That are 5 stars out of 5. I'd give this like a 4 star and a quarter. So
and
it's pretty.
The people at the party last night were saying like they think this is going to be a real big book for people just like you, like at your age, that are like kind of.
Who were the people who were telling you this? What ages are they?
Same as us.
And so why is it more for someone like me than someone like them?
No, it's for them too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it already
is a big book. Miranda July is a big writer. It's like.
But this is going to be like they were saying, I think like it's going to be a real big book. Like there'll probably be a movie, like maybe a generational.
I actually don't know if it will be. It's a little.
Too much sex.
Hey, Andy, you're like yelling at me about this weird book. It's really riveting. Her voice is really interesting in it, but I think it's for a very specific audience of like, part of it is she lives in East LA. Like, I could cross paths with her. The book takes it. It's about she's supposed to go on this. This is in the jacket, so I'm not spoiling anything. But she's supposed to go on this 2-week-long like road trip to New York, stay in New York to see friends, and road trip back. So she has 2 full weeks away from her kid and husband.
Okay.
And instead, she gets like 30 minutes into this drive in Alhambra or somewhere like that, Monrovia, gets a motel room and stays there for the whole time without telling her husband.
Right.
So it's like this secret thing that she's doing.
Yeah.
And anyway, but I don't see it becoming a movie.
Not enough locations.
It's not as
maybe a play, a cool play.
It could be a play. It's not as like commercially viable, even as like 50 Shades of Grey, which I actually didn't read and I didn't see, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But it seems like that was kind of accessible and escapist for everyone. Her voice in this, which I found refreshing, is really, first of all, there's a lot of funny moments in the book. So it's not all just intense.
Okay.
But it's really counter what we as women, wives, mothers are supposed to be, which is that she really, seems to have a very hard time being tethered to those rules, which I think all of us do at some points. It can be all of us, and men too feel that way, like being tethered to family and the responsibility of children and all this stuff. But she talks about it in a way that I'm like, I can't see my friends in St. Louis necessarily like jumping on board this book.
Interesting. Let's talk more about you feeling tethered.
Listen, I love to be tethered because
you're a freak.
No, like I have felt untethered in my life before, and I was desperate to be tethered to the point that I was like, after I lost my parents, I'm dating the first guy I see. I'm nannying to try to like literally join another family. So this is such a beautiful life I have. I love the tether. But yeah, I mean, there's sometimes that, you're taking the kids out of town and I can't lie and say I'm not looking forward to a few days of like, I don't have to worry about dinner. I don't have to worry about anything.
But you're going to be good.
What does that mean?
You're not going to like start cheating on all fours and then leave me.
No.
And get a new house.
Are you kidding? That's the last thing I want to do.
Okay. It's good to know.
It's almost like telling of you what you would do if you had 4 or 5 days alone. Would you be out sniffing around?
Sniffing around.
I'm like, the last thing, I want exactly the opposite
what
of all
are you
of
gonna
that. I really want to finish the screenplay I'm writing.
Okay.
So that's a big one. And
it might be easy to do without someone shitting next door every fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, it's, during this, the I'll Be Gone in the Dark doc, there's a lot of, what I love about the documentary is there's also the story of Michelle McNamara, like, who was this amazing true crime writer, her obsession with this, and ultimately she died in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of texts shared with her and Patton.
Yeah.
And who we love and who was so generous to us on our podcast. So it was kind of interesting, I don't know, seeing this side of things. But he is also a writer.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of things I was like, oh, it felt very validating because one of the things, he was very supportive of her, like going to a hotel to try to get things going or finish something. And he says on the thing, like, when you say, I need 6 hours to write, it's not that you're writing for 6 hours. It's that you need 5 hours to, like, get to the point where you can write for an hour.
Sure.
And that's how I feel. So having this, like, extended time with no, I don't know, responsibility whatsoever.
Right.
I'm like, maybe I can really dive in a way. For some reason, that this project, which I really like, and it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 85% done.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, it's something I wrote a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, it's one
So
of
I'm
a thing you're
rewriting
revisiting.
it.
Got it. Okay.
Which is almost harder for me to do.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm just like, I haven't been able to get in the zone, the surgery zone.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I will probably, I have dinner scheduled with Andrea Savage.
Okay, fun.
Fun. Maybe I'll have like a glass of wine
Oh.
at some point. But probably I'm going to do nothing.
Okay.
What would you do if you were me?
Honestly, probably kind of a similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
Eat bad.
What
Stay
is
up too late.
eat bad?
Eat bad would be like go to McDonald's for breakfast, then get In-N-Out for lunch, and then get like Szechuan beef, like Chinese for dinner. God, that sounds like such an epic day. That's like my perfect day.
But Andy,
Yeah.
you say all this.
Then the next day, I think I would have tummy troubles. The next
Yeah,
day,
and
I think I would get through the
you're willing
the day
to pay
fine.
the price.
In that scenario, and you're out of town, yeah,
Okay,
I'm so willing to pay that price.
great.
Okay, man, a couple different places to go.
First, I wanted to say this week's episode is brought to you all by our sponsor, us, on patreon.com/nobody's listening right. Please, please go check it out and support us there. It would mean so much to us. And we are so lucky that we get to do a bonus episode every month for our patrons.
Oh, yeah.
As well as live streams and fun other things. But the bonus episode we really enjoy because we get even downer and dirtier sometimes.
That's how Elizabeth, I feel like I'm always down and dirty, but you get extra down and dirty, I think.
Yes. So check it out. Patreon.com/nobody's listening right.
Yes.
Isn't there lots of sex in your Elvis book?
No.
Okay.
I'm reading that. You're comparing the Elvis biography to a book called On All Fours. No, they allude to.
Isn't he known for being like good at going down on women? Or is it the opposite that he wouldn't?
There's been no mention of his cunnilingus skills whatsoever in this book, and I will be pretty surprised if there are any in the book.
Well,
but maybe there are.
He is mentioned in some celebrity's memoir that I remember hearing on Chelsea Devontz's podcast, Celebrity Book Club, about, I forget whose it was, but someone either saying that he's either really good at that
Okay.
or he doesn't do it.
I'll let you know.
Big difference.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Anyways. God, that threw me off. What the fuck? Where are we? I want to be gentle to you, so I don't want to there's something I kind of need to pile on you about. Maybe we should just get it over with real quick.
Okay.
Recycling.
Oh.
You need to look at our new recycling bins. There's a big sticker on top.
I have looked.
No, you haven't, because you keep wish cycling. That's what it's called. I just read an article about it, okay? You're wish cycling, where you're throwing things into the bin that will never be recycled, and it's making a lot of our stuff then not get recycled.
Give an example.
Any plastic bag now.
I have not been putting any plastic
There was
bags.
one in the other day. So maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this was like an Amazon packaging thing.
Oh, maybe
Just
maybe it happened by accident, kind of, and I just was carelessly doing that.
if there's any doubt now, throw it in the trash.
Gosh.
That's better.
Okay.
Okay, and go look at the sticker. There's pictures literally of the stuff that we can do.
Well, I can be better about that if you can be better about green binning things.
Yeah, that's a fair.
Isn't that
that's
fair?
a fair trade?
Okay,
yeah,
great.
That's good. All right, let's move on to something completely different. You know how we've been watching all of
YouTube.
all of YouTube. No, we've been watching all of French tourist YouTube, basically.
Yes. Dreaming of a trip.
Dreaming of
someday
trips to France.
happen.
So we're watching videos of city after city, walking tours, all of this. One of the most popular destinations in all these French towns are the big cathedrals, right?
Yes.
So this has me thinking. Some of them are fucking
amazing.
unreal, right?
Carved from a single, like, mountain of stone.
Oh, yeah, there was some crazy thing like that. But, like, let's not even talk about France, so the Vatican, whatever. All these European...
Italia.
Crazy...
Yes, medieval times.
Some of them taking over 100 years to build.
Correct.
Right? So I was really thinking the other day, that might be one of the biggest reasons why religion is suffering so much today. There's no cool fucking new churches at all.
I feel like you've had this revelation before.
Quite possible.
Because about like, these massive, ugly mega churches that are like next to the Walmart and look like shit.
And will be like blown, like will never stand the test of time, where these churches are from sometimes thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And also, they were the thing in the town that was the most amazing, beautiful, unreal thing.
Well, this goes back to my whole thing about like the arts. When we saw that on YouTube about this like cathedral that had been made from one piece of stone. Now, we have to say, I'm sure that there was a lot of slavery involved in creating some of these masterpieces. Like, we have to acknowledge that there was a lot of suffering also.
Okay.
But I looked at you and I said, why can't we have nice things anymore? I mean, the crap that we make is so temporary, although it's not. A lot of it's plastic and is ruining the earth.
Yeah.
But like, you're right. The most beautiful place where you would want to be and seeing the sunlight coming through stained glass windows and all of these intricate details, we don't have fucking shit like that.
We also don't have the patience to build it anymore. Those people, right. I don't even know if it was a patience or it was just like, it's going to take that long. But like, can you imagine?
Well, we don't, I mean, again, like slaves. I feel like there were a lot of people, like the Egyptian pyramids and all of these kind of marvels that were created long, long ago.
Sure. You're really throwing this whole other layer into this whole thing that's just difficult for me to navigate.
Yes.
The point I'm trying to make is we could build something very cool and not use slaves.
Yes.
I think it would be possible in this day and age.
Yes.
Okay, to debunk a little bit of what you're saying. Not debunk it, but just to,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying. But we'll never do that.
No.
And if you think your mega church is fucking cool, like at least put like wow me. That's what I'm saying. There's no wow. Just because it's big, that doesn't wow me. It looks like shit.
But there's almost this like, what's it called? Like there's almost this kind of, it's not Quaker, but it's like the pious kind of prudish religious thinking that I think a lot of Americans have, which is you shouldn't need something like us, beautiful and whatever, like to connect with God, and almost like that's a wasteful thing.
I know what you mean there too. I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
But I'm
Anglo-Saxon.
And I think in some of the different like types of Christianity and whatnot, that's even more prevalent, right? I think even Quaker's a great example of like more to basics and like the church. It doesn't matter that the church is ornate and whatnot. I'm just saying though, if you did have crazy churches, you'd have a lot more people going to church. Or even name me like let's spitball a couple ideas of like what would be a cool wow thing that you would be like, I gotta see that. Like imagine if there was, have you heard that Jesus in that church, his eyes follow you wherever you are in the church. Like that's an example I thought of. It would be like, I gotta fucking see that.
Yeah,
that's
like
crazy.
Just get bodies in those pews. Now, I mean, I am really excited when hopefully, knock on wood, our like European trip comes to fruition. I'm really excited to go to some of these cathedrals. Yeah. I have been to some of them, in my past, like when I backpacked in my 20s. And like going to the Vatican and I'm conflicted, but I really am excited to go to a Roman Catholic mass.
Sure.
And I think like your dad, I hope it's okay that I'm sharing this, but like your parents have traveled extensively. Yeah. They've lived abroad for 15 years. your dad has had really spiritual experiences in
Churches, old
churches,
for sure. Yeah.
synagogues.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like being in that space. You're more likely to feel that magical feeling than being in like this massive auditorium that has like carpets from, I don't know, like 1-800-carpets, and like just there is something spiritual and beautiful about taking the care
Yeah.
to be respectful towards spirituality, whatever religion it is.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to see some of those and feel that brings up something. I want to talk about it next week because we don't know how it's played out yet. But I potentially had a spiritual experience this week,
Oh, yeah.
which you were part of.
Yeah.
I was on all fours.
Yeah.
I'd had sugar-free gummy bears, 4 or 5 too many of them.
Yeah.
And
You don't know what your kink is until you know what your kink is. That's all.
and it
That's
like
all
takes
we'll say.
such a specific
You just
thing.
don't know it until you have it.
On that note, good night.
Good night.